Kristen Wright with Wright Realty and Design, and we thought we would do something a little bit different for our normal questions with Kristen. This is a question that we get asked a lot, so we thought we would take some time maybe over the next few weeks and kind of answer it for you, because inquiring minds always want to know. The number one question we get asked is how we work together, and we've been doing so for the last 6 years full time, and we haven't always done it well. So we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about that, like I said, over the next few weeks. And I brought Jonathan in to kind of help us out here. But what do you think, when we first started working together 6 years ago, was our biggest challenge?
I think it was kind of me coming into a world that you have a lot more experience in, that you have been in for the past 16 years, probably 10 years at that time, and trying to find out exactly where I fit, where she fits, where we fit together, and maybe clarifying expectations and roles. A lot of that's the obvious part is, with you being the broker and me a realtor, there's a delineation as far as the state's concerned and how we function in those professional capacities. But in running a business, who's in charge of the finances, who's in charge of setting strategic direction, who's in charge of looking at the problems that we need to solve, and to some extent answering the question, okay, who has the final say in certain areas? Because sometimes that can be a tension when one spouse maybe runs the household, runs the business, and another one comes in with leadership experience and kind of has to figure out where I fit in to everything. But I think initially we really got to a place quick where we've got to clarify some roles and some expectations, and at the end of the day, who's in charge of what, who's good at what, whose skill sets fit different aspects of our business the best, and really learning to collaborate as a team.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there was many hard conversations in the beginning, and I think the hardest thing for me was to try and take off the hat, the leadership hat, or the I'm in charge hat when we went back home and you were in charge. And so I think we quickly had to come to a place where basically I had to kind of take a step back so that you could take a step forward in this business, because it was really too hard for me personally to try and lead here and then go home and to totally switch modes. So we kind of had to almost establish a little bit more of how we do it at home, where you really do have the final say. And that's a comfortable place for me, that's a safe place for me, that's a place I trust you in. And so why wouldn't I trust you in this business as well?
Well, I think it brings up a unique dynamic, because we did have to create some separation between the office and the house, but when it created some really unique conversations when you see each other at the house and then you say, okay, bye. And then you see each other 15 minutes later at work. Hey, how are you doing? And the delineation between work and the house sometimes got really blurred, as in, hey, when are you gonna get those contracts over to me? When are you gonna get the laundry cleaned up? Questions like that. And just creating, it's funny, but it can create real tension. So initially there was a separation, but then you realize we can't compartmentalize these parts of our life. We have to learn really what, to some extent, mutual submission looks like, but also mutual leadership, and using our collective potential together with each other's gifts to be able to navigate both well and have them intermingle all the time.
And we got separate offices. That really helped. That was the key there. But we'll talk a little bit more about that, of just kind of how we learned to navigate that and maybe some of the things we did well. And then we're gonna have kind of a Q&A between he and I. So stay tuned for next week.